Greetings all! Today, we will be examining the uncommon poison fighting-type Pokemon Croagunk and its relatively rare evolution Toxicroak, the two collectively known as the Toxic Mouth Pokémon. While they might not be among the most conventional of amphibian Pokemon known, the members of the Croagunk family are fascinating fighters that can more than use their powerful toxins to put away lesser foes and show why they shouldn't be underestimated. Croagunk possess blue bipedal bodies with a black stripe running along their arms and torso that is banded on top of a pair of white stripes on their torso, and a trio of black-tipped fingers on each of their hands and feet, though the middle finger on each hand is instead coated in orange color. Their head is fairly small and visually melts into their torso, with bright yellow eyes rimmed with black highlights on their skin. Their mouth is a bit distorted and shows a goofy grin of hard teeth every time they smile, with a small set of nostrils in the middle of their face and a pair of large orange markings on their cheeks that show where their powerful poison sacs are located, which are larger in males than in females. Their evolved form, Toxicroak, retain a generally blue body color of a lighter shade, but their body is rimmed with black stripes along their forearms, feet, and around the edges of their torso, connecting across their eyes on their face and around their shoulders. They retain their goofy grin and eye color, but they have developed a horn-like growth on their forehead for intimidation. Their feet have changed, so their toes are blue with the middle one orange, and their three-fingered hands have turned completely blue as well. Moreover, their cheek markings have vanished, and instead their face is adorned with a large throat pouch used for storing their poison, while their hands are also adorned with a set of knuckle claws that jut out from between their fingers and act as their primary way of attacking with and injecting poison into enemies in battle. Although the members of the Croagunk family are indeed amphibians biologically and do live in marshy environments in a few locales in the world, they are unique in that their form lacks the capacity to utilize the water type in any way whatsoever, having instead developed out of such powers over time, similar to how Stunfisk have had to acquire their current elemental type assignment. This does not seem to have hindered them that much, however, as these creatures specialize in using powerful toxins as a weapon in battle, and have more than made a name for themselves in being able to do so. The poison sacs of these creatures differ in their location depending upon what stage of evolution they are in, but at least in the case of Croagunk, their toxins are stored in special cheek pouches that are connected to their diaphragm and vocal cords. As such, when these creatures croak, they create a gurgling, bubbling noise that not only serves to intimidate others, but also churns the poison in their sacs, creating chemical reactions that activate the poison and increase its potency. From there, these creatures use special organic tubes in their limbs to transport the toxins to their middle fingers, where their skin is thinner and coated with a special organic compound that allows the poison to seep through their pores without necessarily entering into their own bloodstream and potentially harming them. This allows them to turn their very touch into a toxic hazard, which they take advantage of by jabbing and striking others with their poison-coated appendages to inflict damage. In the case of Toxicroak, their poison sac is singular and is attached to their throat pouch, so, just as with Croagunk, when they release their unique gurgling croak, it violently churns the poison in their sac and activates them, before they are then pumped into a pair of organic tubes that feed them into their extended knuckle claws for the same effect. This mainly serves as their primary means of offense, but it is also noted that these creatures, though only learning one fighting-type attack naturally, the revenge attack, have proven to be so skillful in using that attack and any other move of the type they are taught through other means, that they are actually classified as partial fighting types, and can more than make the most of their limited skills to deal powerful physical blows in battle. Their amphibious nature and sharp minds help to define their abilities more directly though, as these creatures normally can have access to the anticipation and dry skin abilities as base abilities, while only those that are able to produce enough poison from their forms to make even the slightest touch toxic can also have poison touch as a hidden ability. As far as their stats are concerned, in the case of Toxicroak, these creatures do not exactly have thick skin to aid them much in keeping their forms protected against attack, and thus suffer from below average base defense and special defense stats, but they can offer some compensation in their other stats at the very least. Their stamina is fairly decent for a Pokemon of their type, as is their speed, and while the physical strength might only be impressive for a poison-type Pokemon, it cannot be argued that they have a stronger affinity for special attacks than most other Pokemon assigned to their types, granting them above average base HP and special attack stats for a fully evolved Pokemon of both of their types, as well as above average base attack and speed stats for a fully evolved poison-type Pokemon, and in fact, have the highest base attack stat out of all known poison-type Pokemon, marking them as dangerous targets that should be battled and approached cautiously, if only to avoid the worst that their toxic wrath can unleash upon others. Croagunk, because they tend to take longer than similar life forms in order to mature, have had to develop survival tactics that work to keep them alive by any means in the wild, and this has led them, as a whole, to become fairly dirty fighters in most conflicts. These beasts will generally try and use their blubbering cries to intimidate others or otherwise distract them somehow, and when their target's guard is down from flinching or being distracted, they will strike with their poison-coated fingers in the most vulnerable places they can find, even if it means going to places that might be less than kosher to strike with a poison-coated appendage. This type of fighting has made them reviled in some circles, but for them, this is what they must do to survive, using the unstable footing of their marshy environments to keep others off balance and give their widespread toes the advantage they need to close the distance rapidly, which especially helps with their vicious revenge attack, the only fighting-type move they actually learn naturally. Despite their sneaky and sometimes unfair tactics, which may also include going so far as to use mud as a weapon to hurt and blind others, these creatures are actually quite popular as mascots in many parts of the world because of their tenacious and clever fighting spirit and unwillingness to ever give up. Pastoria City of the Sinnoh region is especially noteworthy there, as these creatures serve as both the mascot for all the sports teams and the entire city in general, which isn't so surprising considering the fact that the marshes around the city are the only places in the region where these amphibians can be reliably found. At the very least, these creatures can offer humanity something of genuine help, as the poison that seeps from their fingers can actually be used to create a remedy for lower back pain, so they can be useful to others outside of a combat scenario. In evolving into Toxicroak, these creatures gain much stronger poisons in their body and are able to make great use of them as a weapon thanks to the biological weaponization of their entire hand structure. As noted before, instead of their poison seeping through their fingers, Toxicroak have an advanced system of conduits and organic tubes in their arms that feed the poison in the central poison throat sac evenly into a pair of special knuckle claws that extend outward from their hands between their knuckles. These structures are the only part of their external frame that is hard and rigid, and they are designed to deliver powerful slashing strikes that, while not deep enough to give true slashing wounds, can be used as an effective way of delivering their toxins into a target through their potent poison jab attack, getting deep into the flesh where the poison that leaks from and coats the claws can then rapidly enter the bloodstream of a target. Their toxins can often be strong enough that even a slight scratch can inject enough poison to be lethal, and this can make them a severe threat in close quarters. Moreover, their bodies are extremely flexible and fleet-footed despite their odd physical form, crossed between bipedal and quadrupedal movement systems, and they can flex their forms into various contortions in order to get at the vulnerable spots of any and all opponents they face, using their limited fighting-type powers to help break through the armor of steel types even to get at whatever organic matter can actually be poisoned in them. This is helped out by the fact that these beasts are highly intelligent and fast learners, able to master any combat skill they observe and practice in only a matter of days, thus making them great teaching partners and perfect for those that are willing to use their unorthodox fighting style to disrupt the opposition and give them a powerful physical lashing that they are unlikely to expect from an amphibian Pokemon of their caliber. Though they might be more poison than fighter when it comes to the attacks they can get access to naturally, the members of the Croagunk family are fierce fighters that can more than make life difficult for anyone that dares to step into a squared circle with them. You might have to search around the muddiest of marshes in order to find one of these little beasts, but it can more than be worth it if you're looking for a physical hard hitter to add to your team. Just do yourself a favor and make sure to keep your distance if they suddenly start emitting a blubbering cry. It might sound like a cry of distress at first, but if you get too close, you'll quickly find out that it is merely a warning call that you and your Pokemon are about to get a nasty taste of what their potent poisons can do after giving you and your allies a knuckle sandwich straight to the face. Thank you all for watching this video. It is always an honor to be able to speak with you all on the subject of Pokemon in a way that brings me great joy and happiness in my work. If you would like to keep tabs on past and future work, click that subscribe button, check out my work on DeviantArt, and don't be shy about following me on Twitter, where you can find pertinent announcements on upcoming work before it is officially posted. Links to both can be found in the video description. If you would like to support my work and help Miguel and I continue to produce more content for you and improve upon our presentation, please visit us at my Patreon page, which you can also find a link to in the video description. With that, I thank you for watching and I wish you well.